the year 2028, one Big Mac will equal $1 million. From the Gospel of John McAfee. Bro, just learn to code. The Project Freedom Podcast.
Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you, hear me out, what if I told you that you have this thing in the world that you need in order to buy food, pay for schooling, pay for housing, transportation. Essentially, you need this thing, whatever thing you want to call it. Let's call it Gleep Glorp. You need Gleep Glorp to sustain life. Not by your decision. That's just how things are. Because when you were born, that's what you're told. You need Gleep Glorp to sustain life. And let's just say that Gleep Glorp, or this thing, X, actually, you know what, guys? Let's just call it X because Gleep Glorp takes too long to say. You need X because it has value. You don't really know why it has value. You don't know where it comes from. You just know that everyone values it and admires it. In fact, people that have large amounts of X are looked up to as someone who has achieved something great. And maybe they have. Maybe they had to do a lot of work to get a lot of X. Now, so far, there's no problem with anything I've said, except for the fact there's a lot of unknowns, right? Now, let's say that thing X comes from a place that doesn't really have much information out in existence about said place. Let's just say, to make it more clear, if we're talking about a story here, let's just say as you get older, you come to find out that X comes from this thing called a bank. Not just any kind of bank, not like the bank down the street, not Chase Bank, not Regions Bank, not whatever bank. It comes from a private, large bank that actually has more, we could say, influence, some could even say power, or even control than other banks, because this bank is the bank that makes all the X that the banks keep for you. Remember that thing, guys? X, that thing that you need to buy, sell, live life. So now you find this out and you say, well, who is this bank? What are these people? And you come to find that you really don't have access to any information about this bank because, well, for one, there's none out there. In fact, if you were to go on Google or any search engine, you wouldn't be able to find any information about them other than just what is surface level, what the news tells you, what your parents told you, what your school told you, what your government told you. And hey, that might not be as much of a problem as long as you can do whatever you want with this thing called X, which if you guys can't tell by now, I'm talking about money, specifically the US dollar. And so let's say you find out that you have to keep X in a bank, and every time you receive X, you have to account for it. Every time you lose X, you have to account for it. And you don't really even know where it came from still. Other than the fact that this place just says that they make it, you don't really know how or why. And in fact, as you start learning this, you come to start thinking, why is it that everybody uses and trusts X? What about X is so great? Kyle W in the house is Kyle saying yes. Yes. Snowman Mike says, what if crypto hates them? Yes, Snowman Mike, crypto does indeed hate them. Wade Emery says, hello. Hello, Wade. Guys, question. Did the microphone that I have yesterday, did it really sound that bad? Because Kyle said that it didn't sound too bad on his end, but hey, I would like to use that preferably sometimes as opposed to this. So if it wasn't that bad, guys, why were y'all trolling me in the chat yesterday? I think you guys already know what tonight's stream about, similar to the last night's stream, or Monday night's stream rather, right? Similar to the same stuff that I've been harping on for a very, very long time on this channel, consistently over and over and over again. We have an entity that we don't even really know who they are, what they do, aside from the people that they put on the service level. We don't know who funds them, and we don't even know who owns them. But we do know that they're a private entity. We do know that although they're not part of the federal government, they have the word federal in their name. And we know that they have great influence on what the government does and says. And they also have not just great influence on the economy, but they have total influence on the economy. So who are these people? The Fed. Guys, the Fed. Do I have to say it? Am I going to get booted off of here? Am I going to have to say the FED word and get booted off of YouTube? So I'm going to try to use code words tonight, guys, because like, you know, I've gotten a little overzealous lately, I think, as far as like just saying things. Maybe I shouldn't, but Ashley Schaefer says, good evening. X is all people know. That is true. Snowman Mike says, but can the US dollar go to the moon? Nope, it can only go downwards. Your mic goes off by a couple seconds. It's like watching Japanese English subs. Yeah, my internet, guys, the internet here has been awful. I'm even hardwired in. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. Who are these people, guys? I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't know. Because there is no information out there. There is no real information out there about these people. Other than just things that you hear, whispers and rumors that you hear on the internet that could be from shadowy supercoders. And since it's on the internet, you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But I do know this, guys. They are people. They are a singular group. Don't know how many. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. They are a singular group. They are the ones who make the rules. They are the ones who make this entire monetary system. And we have absolutely zero transparency into the reality of it. So, what happened? 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin, blah, 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 orange, right, fellas? You guys know how I feel about the orange coin. And people didn't like it. Banks didn't like it. Governments didn't like it. Even people didn't like it. It's just some magic internet money based off of nothing is what everybody says. But is it? Most of the time, all the time, that people say these things about Bitcoin, crypto, whatever, the same people don't really know that there actually is full transparency to this technology. There is the freedom to participate or not participate in this technology. There is the ability, or rather lack of ability, to corrupt it. Due to the fact that and let's just talk about Bitcoin here. It is an immutable ledger, meaning it can never be changed. You can't go backwards and change it. You can't steal some money or move some money or do a double spin. And, I don't want anybody to know that. Kind of like that time after September 1 happened, and the Pentagon prior to happened to say that they lost count of $1 trillion. Oops. We lost the data. It went away. Can't do that. Everything's clear and open for everyone to see. Everybody can see the source code. Everybody can participate in the governance of it. Pretty polar opposite to the banks, right? So I ask you guys, if you were to pit one against the other, which one actually is better? Because truth be told, fellas, I think it's possible that this crazy scenario that this tinfoil hat wearing guy has been harping on for forever might actually be coming truer sooner than later. T-Man Scott says, my internet gets slow too. It must be a Miami thing. Yes, indeed. It's going to zero. Yes. Sam's rubbing off on me, says Kyle. Yes, indeed. Hey, Sam and I made a prediction that something was going to happen late December, early January, and oh boy, it happened. That's all I got to say. It's like around 160. It's like around 160 men that run the world. I've heard, and I've read this a couple of times while deep diving research. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, there is no there's no information about these people. There's no who owns the Federal Reserve guys, and I probably shouldn't even say Federal Reserve because I feel like might get in trouble, might get silenced on a platform. Although, because see, guys, I'm not big enough to where if someone silenced me, people would be upset about it. I'm way too small, at least for now, right? It's the Fed attacking Florida's internet. Yep, they're coming after me, guys. 100K by December? No, that wasn't it. Me and Sam both did not think it was going 100K by December after probably November 15th. That was pretty certain. I don't want to say what me and Sam predicted on air. I can't because it's too dangerous. What? The platform, says Kyle. The menu. Guys, it's as clear as day. And I've always believed this, okay? Before, I might have been a little hesitant to be extra boisterous about it and state my opinion because it's clear as day, okay? It's clear as day what the solution to the problem that we have is. What is better? We have literal software. We have literal code in computers that are solving a problem for humanity in a better way, in a non-biased, clear, and transparent, better way than our entire monetary policy. In fact, the entire monetary policy of the entire planet. And if people can't see that by now with everything that's going on, don't know what to tell you. You're going to be begging. You're going to be pleading. You're going to be on the streets. You're going to be asking why, oh, why, oh, why, just like Max Kaiser told that reporter. All right. Now, what has been going on with the markets, plural, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, et cetera, even the stock market, guys, they've been extremely volatile, right? And again, I'm not an investor. I'm not an investment advisor. I don't really even talk about finance, guys. I just talk about the structure behind it, the technology, because honestly, I'm passionate about it. That is what I do for a literal living, is development for things just like this. So I'm passionate about the subject, and I wouldn't be passionate about it for no fucking reason. All right. There's really no valid argument that anybody can say otherwise. If they try to state an argument, it's really just because of a lack of understanding, or it's an argument that either could go both ways, or it's something that's probably never going to happen. Okay. I mean, guys, I could say that we shouldn't drive cars because space aliens from Pluto could come down at any second and zap the car with a light beam. All right. And we could just get fried. I could just say that. And it could happen. It could happen, right? But chances of it happening, slim to none, right? Any time in history that we've had technology replace something that humanity does better, more efficiently, and in this case, also in a non-biased manner, it just wins. It just wins. It is infallible and it can't lose. I'd say, instead of thinking about maybe dollars and things priced in dollars, maybe we could have the ability to shift our thinking. After all, guys, everyone thinks the way that they do about things being valued in dollars. Why? Why do they think that? It's because that's what they were brought up to think. That's what their parents taught them to think. That's what their parents' parents taught them to think. It's not an impossibility to believe that what we have, the system, to believe that it's not going to be around forever. Okay, guys, it's not an impossibility. I would also like to add that if you choose to have the same beliefs, as in you choose to have the belief that this system is right, the system's where it's supposed to be, I trust the system, then who are you trusting? You're essentially trusting the same people who we know have lied to us, not only the last 2 years, but the last, God, as many years as somebody can count, right? Time and time again, over and over and over, it's the same exact thing. And the best part about it is that because of code, because of software, because of technology, we finally have the ability to engineer ourselves a solution out of this. And it's happened. And it gets better and better every day. Someone implements something better and better on top of it. And it's not slowing down. It's not. Normal people who don't understand these things who happen to be dabbling in this realm of the world and humanity could all just pack up and leave right now, and it wouldn't stop any of the technological progression. It wouldn't. Because as long as there's a 12-year-old kid in India who has a smartphone and can program on a smartphone, hey, dev's going to dev. People going to find solutions, and they're going to engineer their way out of them. After all, that's what we do, guys. Haven't had a lot of developer talk lately because I've been literally swarmed in not only teaching people how to develop, but developing myself. That sometimes when I come on here, I don't want to just talk about code. I want to talk about normal stuff. But one thing I will say, and I always tell my clients this, I tell the people that do work for me this: to be a good engineer doesn't mean that you know all these languages, that you have every single language memorized, you have done this, you got that, blah, 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 blah. To be a good engineer means that when you get confronted with a problem that you either haven't done before or don't know how to do, you have the skill set and competence to figure it out, no matter what. Even if it's hard, even if it takes a long time, even if you don't think that you can because no one else has done it, you have the skill set that allows you to do so. That's called being able to problem solve and troubleshoot, and that is what really makes an engineer a good engineer. And since that's the case, there's a lot of us engineers out there that are good. Not saying that I'm good. There's a lot of people out there that are really good and can do that. And you get something you can't take away from somebody. You just can't take it away. So it's not going to stop, friends. It ain't going to stop. Matt W says, good evening, Josh and Devs. Good evening, Matt W. Sam Perchinsky says, space aliens could indeed do that. Yes, indeed, my friend, they could. I'll take a sip to that. Randall J says, if a politician breathes, just assume they're lying. Agreed. The normies want to be lied to. Yep. Yeah, I mean, think about it like this, man. If you have your entire, like, if you set your entire life up to be a certain way because somebody told you that it had to be that way, and you never really liked doing that, and deep down inside you didn't want to, when you finally start to figure out, you know, let's just say you've spent like 30, 40, 50 years of your life, you finally start to figure out that that's not the truth, you're going to want to at least mentally reject it at first, even if it's subconscious, because like for you to accept that would have to be the equivalent of you accepting that you lived the lie, right? So friends, heed my warning. But seriously, guys, seriously, I want you guys to think about it. Think about it. Do you trust some people that you don't know? Or do you trust code that you do know? I know what my answer is. I will always trust code as long as I can read it. I will always not trust people that I don't know. And for me, it's as simple as that. Yes, Dre, you are indeed correct. You are indeed correct. Guys, I hope that was philosophical enough for you all. I do indeed need to run because lately, guys, I've been super swamped. I know I always say that. I'm literally like, I'm on like nightmare mode times 1072. I have way too much stuff to do. So I'm going to have to scram. If you guys could do me a favor, seriously this time, if you guys could do me a favor, I want to know what you guys want me to talk about next on the stream. So if you have any ideas, actually do leave a comment. And if you don't want to leave a comment, just DM me. Literally DM me. And I might actually put a poll out there too. I'm going to put the poll on YouTube and give some ideas and see if I get some votes and maybe go at them at the order of what was voted for the most and decrement myself down. That's all I have for you tonight, fellas. As always, I love you all.